Welcome to the Platinum Podcast, Episode 2. Please note that the information in this podcast is general information or advice only, meaning the advice does not take into account your personal situation, objectives, or needs. Due to that, please consider if this advice is appropriate to you before acting on any information. You should obtain advice tailored to your personal situation from a qualified and licensed financial planner. Welcome everyone, my name's Trent. I'm the Director, Founder and CEO of Platinum Financial Planning. I am joined by my co-host, co-founder, Director, Senior Financial Planner, CFP, overall pretty decent human, Asha Burrows.
Thank you.
How are
you? So I guess thanks everyone firstly for listening or tuning in last week. Obviously it was something we have to get used to, sort of working together and stuff, and I know that I probably have a bit of work to do, but we'll get there. So
we got some pretty good feedback at our gym party of all places last Saturday. That was good.
Yeah, definitely. But I guess we probably didn't really go into too much of a background about Trent, so I will give you the mic and you can tell us a little bit about yourself before we get stuck into some other topics today.
Oh, geez, thanks. There's on the spot. You're throwing it back at me this week. Well, my name's Trent, as I said. I've been in the business for 10 odd years now, I think.
14.
Oh, God. There we go. Undercut yourself, mate.
I just work it out based on how old our children are. So
that is a very good point. I remember that now. So I started in a sort of admin role back in the day, predominantly with a cash flow monitoring system that we used to use, and that was sort of my responsibility when I came on board, was heading that up, which was great. As we sort of figured out a bit of a succession plan through the previous ownership of the business, and my role started to develop and expand, I suppose, into more of a business admin overview, I suppose, which was good. My background's been in business management. That's what my qualifications are in, and that, so it's always been quite a passion of mine. I worked for Telstra for a long time in various management roles in the retail side. And then the time came when we purchased the business, and it was 5 and a bit years ago now. And
6.
Fuck. All right, 6.
Don't trust Trent for timing, clearly.
And my role since then has really been running the business overall. So Asha's role, your role is client facing, and you're the genius in that role with clients, and that portion of the business. I sort of take on everything else, I suppose. So
yeah, exactly.
Which is good.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy it.
Yep.
It's probably good that we do different things.
Very good.
Yeah. Probably one thing we didn't really do, as you said, I think you were a bit nervous last week. We kind of skipped over you a little bit. One thing we sort of did touch on was that you are, a very highly regarded CFP, a Certified Financial Planner. What is that? For people out there that don't know, what is a CFP? I mean, it is in our industry, a very highly touted and desirable qualification. I think you really played it down last week.
Yeah, I guess it's just I'm so used to doing study, so I just kind of think about it. But I completed my qualification through Deakin University, so I did that externally. And I guess the industry has had a lot of changes, so that was as part of the designation that you have to have through the Financial Planning Association, but that has now merged as well with another organisation. But yes, it is still quite highly regarded. And I guess the industry in general has changed, so there's now a lot more university courses specifically for financial planning, but that is still seen as quite a significant qualification to have in our industry. But as I still have to do continuing education every year, so another 50 hours every year in relation to all of the areas that I'm authorised in, so self-managed super fund, margin lending, plus all the general areas that I cover as well, so superannuation, investments, personal insurance, so the list is ongoing. So
sure is. I'm going to put you on notice, and we're just going to have a bit of fun with this because I just thought it'd be interesting. We're going to do this whenever I feel like it, to be honest. Random question. We have had the privilege to do extensive travel throughout our life, business and personal. Mm-hmm. What's your favourite destination?
in general, or where we've travelled for work, or
no, where we have travelled at all. Like, where's your favourite place? Let's make Asha a bit more human.
Oh my goodness. I think America. We haven't done it for a few years, but I think that's still probably one of my favourite places to travel. And I think probably Vegas is probably an amazing place. We got to actually go there for a conference one year. Probably people are surprised to hear that. But we did do Vegas, and just, I guess, going through all the different hotels and the experience. Yeah. And, I mean, you see it in movies and things, but to actually experience in person,
I think what you see on the movies
was pretty
is
amazing. And I'm not a gambler. I've been there how many times now, and I haven't gambled at all in Vegas. So
I spent $20 on the chocolate wheel and lost it, and then thought I was going to go broke for life. So I thought I'd put my family into bankruptcy. Yeah. I walked out of there pretty quick.
But we're very lucky with the opportunities that we have had over time. Yep. Obviously, COVID's put a bit of a dampener on that. But very lucky, and I do appreciate, I guess, more experiences than sort of tangible things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would definitely concur with that being my favourite as well. So one thing I did want to give you the opportunity to probably highlight a little bit was a really good win that we had, or you had. I'm saying we because I'm just going to ride your coattails there.
Okay.
It was a bit of a Centrelink win with a client a couple of weeks ago now.
Yep.
My fault, I forgot about it when we were recording our first one. But when I was thinking about it today, that was something I know you were so pumped up about, and me too. Not often you get a win with a government agency, but that was a really good one. Just give us a quick explanation of what happened there.
So we've got clients who we've had for a number of years. He's retired and on age pension, so he's a little bit older, and then his wife recently retired, and she's just reached age pension age. Some of the rules regarding Centrelink in terms of assets and income, they live on a regional property, and based on the size of their property, they do consider looking at the value of the property as part of their assets. So what that meant was they have a $400,000 property, and 100% of the assets were assessed, which we thought was a bit unusual because normally they don't assess the whole amount. So I guess that's where our role came in to act on their behalf with Centrelink, put in a review of the case. So it came back that they were previously getting like $150 each a fortnight from Centrelink, but based on the review and pushing that a little bit with Centrelink, they've now come back and they're getting $600 a fortnight each. So it was pretty amazing. I guess the main point with that is people have a lot of organic value in their properties over time, and some of them have no Centrelink assessment on their properties, and for these people it's very hard to be able to buy a property for $400,000 these days.
Most would say impossible.
Yeah, exactly. So for them to be able to get that and now be able to supplement, they haven't got a significant amount of assets to be able to sort of run for them. Unfortunately, the client has Alzheimer's as well, so we're obviously conscious of his health and deteriorating and needing a lot of income in retirement to manage his health concerns. So they were very appreciative of us being able to sort of step in and act on their behalf and deal with a government agency, which not always is easy, but we were very lucky that we had a very good person at Centrelink as well. So she was really helpful and a great outcome for the client.
Definitely a great outcome when it comes to Centrelink, considering we have to go through the same channels as everyone, which is an absolute battle on its own. Awesome win. That was really good.
Win-win
just one of those real feel good moments that that's why we do what we do.
Yeah, exactly.
I say we, you. Well, a couple of things we probably want to have a bit of a chat about. Obviously, what happened yesterday with Michelle Bullock and the RBA and the monthly rate decision. Most people, I think, probably had a bit of a sigh of relief when the word filtered through that the rates had been held at 4.35.
Yep.
Probably expected from what most economists and experts and that were out there saying. So, probably a bit of a win, and always very. A strange day when it comes to the first Tuesday of the month, because as much as what the economists and that predict, you never know. And a lot of the pre-meeting comments from Michelle were interesting. What did she say? So rate cut was not even discussed. It was either hold or go up. That's a bit of a worry. But, we keep talking about the economists and the experts. Most are predicting a hold for the rest of the year and then probably a cut early 25 if the inflation numbers keep coming through the way that they're coming through, which is good. What did you think about it?
I mean, I'm not surprised. I think there's always a variation in the markets in terms of what people or big banks or whatever predict. But as you said, at the end of the day, obviously the Reserve Bank makes the final decision. We're still not at their target inflation rate of between 2 to 3. So we're sitting about 3.8 with the most recent.
Yeah, which is below where they forecast anyway, which I think is what played into them. I think it went from 3.6 to 3.8, which was below their prediction, which was I think probably why they
where they kept it on hold.
Most people are saying it's probably the right decision.
Definitely.
Especially for general households and business. It's definitely good. Being able to sit on both sides of that. We can certainly see it, and it reduces the risk of a recession. At least for the time being. Fingers crossed.
And I guess in saying that, like as you said, we don't really have much control over what's happening, I guess, unless spending or inflation comes down. But I guess one thing that I wanted to highlight was in terms of like your loans. If you've got a mortgage, we would always encourage you to check what your rate is. If it's sort of on the high 6s or even getting into the 7s, then we definitely encourage you to check with your lender to see if they can do anything, if they can review it. There's no harm in asking. And I guess the other thing that I want to highlight is as well, and you probably may not think about it because it's sometimes like a default or an automatic option, but in terms of your repayment frequency, I've just sort of put together just some rough numbers. Obviously, everyone's mortgage varies, and I think the average loan in Adelaide at the moment is about 542,000. So there's obviously some above that and some below that. But just to give you a bit of an idea in terms of numbers, I've used an example of someone that's got a mortgage, say $3,000 per month. So if you pay that monthly, then it works out to be $36,000 over the year. If you decide to increase your premiums and do it fortnightly, so you split that $3,000.
Repayments, not premiums.
Sorry?
Repayments, not
repayments,
premiums.
Sorry. If you split your repayments and pay like $1,500 a fortnight, there's 26 fortnights in a year. So you actually end up paying $39,000 over the year. So by just splitting the repayments and doing it in fortnights instead of months, then you actually increase your repayments by $3,000 over the year. So over 10 years, that's like $30,000. So it makes a big difference in terms of your repayments. I mean, it obviously does depend on how frequent your income is paid as well. But the difference between sort of a fortnightly repayment and a weekly repayment is actually the same. But if you were to sort of change your repayments from monthly to fortnightly, then just those
Great
slight
idea.
little changes that can make a huge difference over the life of a loan.
Yeah, great idea. And I think especially where we are in the current cycle of rate rises, holds, decreases, the interest rate cycle. Households are bearing the responsibility for where the RBA is putting a lot of it on households, where the inflation rate is at the moment. The government do have levers that they can pull around fiscal policy and reduction in government spending, but where we are in an election cycle as well, that's not popular. That's not going to get them voted back in. So unfortunately, business and households are carrying that responsibility. So I think if they can find ways to reduce that time frame on the loan, plus increase the dollar value of the repayments, great.
We're a bit of a tale of two economies at the moment, really. So you've got the population that are under mortgage stress, and obviously things are tight, but then you've got the other side, and I guess we probably see it more often because we work with retirees and people that don't have debt. They've obviously got money to spend, and they're getting a better rate of return on their bank accounts as well. So it's always that tough thing. So Yeah. But I mean, as I said, inflation is obviously coming down, so rates are on hold, so it's a good thing. But as I said, just if there's little things that you can do that can help the financial position, then it's going to be beneficial.
Yeah, I think the next lot of data we have come through is in October, which will be interesting because that's going to be the first lot of data that we're going to see what these stage 3 tax cuts have done as well. So which way that's going to push the numbers is going to be interesting. Will definitely play a part in Christmas.
Yeah.
Because that data will filter into the November announcement. So it's going to be interesting.
Yes.
We're never bored, that's for sure, are we?
No, definitely not.
Anything else you wanted to sort of say around that bit?
No, I mean, I guess just like everything, just always review things, whether it's mortgages, whether it's insurances, whether it's just all of your costs. So I know obviously streaming services are a big thing. So are you, carrying too many of those? It's just review the budget.
Don't touch my Netflix.
Just review the budget, I guess. Budget's a bit of a dirty word, but it's important to, I guess, constantly review. And if there's a better rate, then there is limited loyalty, I think, in a lot of like banking or insurance companies and things. So it doesn't hurt to sort of look around and see. I mean, you always want to make sure you're comparing apples with apples in comparisons, especially with insurances and things. But I think everyone just needs to take a step back and have a look at their situation. And if there's,
I think it was really important what you said before around you don't know if you don't ask. When just go to your bank. What's the worst they can say? No.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you've got options.
Cost of a phone call.
Yeah, you can look around. There's definitely value to be had out there.
Definitely.
Cool. We'll just wait and see. You know, what will be, will be.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, since we did our last little chat, we've had some pretty big wins internally in the office. And it's almost embarrassing to even talk about with technology that we brought in. We look at ourselves, we're 43 and 42. Pretty up to speed on tech, and
speak for yourself.
We kind of know our way around it. We went to a professional development day, and it was very heavily focused on tech, and we looked at each other and just went, "Oh shit!"
Or I looked at you and said,
"Yeah,
get your act together."
Well, there's that too. That we just kind of had that little bit of a moment where we went, "Well, that we've almost missed the boat." And we're playing a lot of catch up, but we took a lot of good information out of that session and came back with a bit of a fire and really wrote up a heap of stuff that we wanted to get done, that we wrote on our 60-day goals that got done in about 3 days, I think.
Motivation was high.
It was very high. I think we had a lot of digital fear, and we were carrying a lot of legacy procedures and processes and stuff that we just couldn't figure out how to unwind. And there's that fear about how a client's going to react to it and how the staff going to react to it, how are we going to react to it, what if it doesn't work, what's the return on investment, all of these sorts of things that go around that you've kind of just got a bit of a leap of faith at some points and figure out where you can make the biggest gains and the best bang for your buck, really. I think a lot of it just came down to we got so caught up in working in the business instead of on it.
And I think you just get so caught up in, you just do things that you just almost autopilot sometimes. So I guess that goes across anything in life. Like, change does take time, but you've obviously got to implement that change to then improve efficiencies or your health or whatever it is. But we've already seen so far how much more efficient we can be. And
I think sometimes you've got to take maybe 1 or 2 steps back on efficiency while you learn it, but have faith in that end goal is going to really build in 10 times that efficiency. So a couple of things we've brought on in the last 10 odd days.
It's happened quickly. It's a blur.
Is a digital signing program called Asha, which has really blown our minds. It's a web-based system program where you can PDF any documents that require a signature. We send it out. There's a secure 2-factor authentication link. You sign it on your phone, your computer. You say done. We get it back. I've sent away a couple in the last sort of week that we've had it on board, and it's come back the same day. And I've lodged it the next day when I've got into the office. I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Australia Post.
Yeah. And as I said, the clients have really embraced it as well. So, and I mean, our client base is quite diverse.
Yeah.
So we do have people ranging from their 30s right up until like their 80s.
Yeah.
So,
it's been really well received. And I think even the staff have looked at it and gone, oh, this is good. I don't have to print and put it in an envelope and put a stamp on it and walk down to the mailbox.
Or keep following them up if they don't return it. Or
just even the background on it, you can see when it's been actioned and all that. And, you know, it's really great that the companies that we work with have embraced this as well and will accept this. Probably one of the real good things that came out of that COVID period is them realising that, you know, they're going to have to embrace this as well.
Yeah.
So that's been really cool.
Very much, yeah. Happy with that.
The other big one that we brought on, and I still just don't understand a heap of this, I just have faith in it, is a file note system called FileNote.ai.
Yeah.
And as AI, artificial intelligence, this program is nuts. So we run this in the background of a client appointment, obviously with their approval. And instead of you having to come out of an appointment and spend 60 to 90 minutes typing up a file note from memory or whatever you've jotted down in your notebook, which most of the time you can't even read.
It's ineligible.
This thing listens, can distinguish your voice, the client's voice, the other client's voice if there's multiple people in the room. Hour and a half later, you have a full transcript, broken down into goals, got all the stuff you've discussed.
Yeah, just a summary of everything. Yeah.
The first time we got it through, I was like, oh, what is this sorcery?
Yeah, I know. It's pretty amazing. And yeah, as I said, to have it there, I'm so used to sort of getting out of an appointment, sitting down and having to basically turn off my phone and shut my door and write a file note. But now, as I said, I can go about doing other things and then wait for it to come through.
Takes you, maybe 5 or 10 minutes just to quickly read through it, tidy up where you might need to if it's misinterpreted one word here and there. But I mean, the accuracy is close to 100%. I mean, given that margin of error, but you know, it's up there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So 90 minutes versus 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Yes, thanks.
Yeah, exactly. So I've already tried it, 4 times this week? Yep. So yeah, and as I said, all of them have been pretty good.
That has been game changer.
Game changer.
Those two things are probably the big things that we brought on. I guess just looking, you know, that we're still stress testing and things like that is the Microsoft Office suite, which, you know, being Microsoft, we pay through the nose for our licenses, but definitely something we haven't really leveraged. So an integrated program in there called SharePoint, which we're using for documents that don't require a signature, which we can send out to clients, like an insurance schedule or a letter or PDF, PDS or something like that. It doesn't need a signature.
Yeah.
Again, 2-factor authentication. So we meet our cyber requirements and we have that peace of mind that we have and that we can obviously provide to our clients. But on from that, all these businesses that I've been talking to are like, we don't have a server. We just use SharePoint. Like, sorry, tell me more. What is this? Like, that's going to be nuts once we get our head around that. You know, I think even just with what we can use it for just in its infancy now is great.
Yeah, definitely.
Teams.
Oh, yeah.
Which people are going to laugh at this because they're like, oh, yeah, good one, Trent's been around for years. No, yes, it has. I know that, but I've never looked at it.
No, we've been using Zoom. I think during COVID, Zoom was the one that we sort of tended to use more, and we still do that as well. Like, I still have clients that are interstate or are not in a position to travel, so we still use Zoom. But as you said, I guess it's using what you've already got. So the Teams is through Microsoft 365, so it's utilising something that you've already got. So we will probably start moving over to that as well. Yeah,
and even from an internal business communication method, we can use that if you and I are offside, if the team here needs something's got a chat functionality instead of having the email, you might not see it straight away, you know. All these things.
I know, mind-blowing.
the last little piece of tech that we're trying to figure out how we can actually integrate as an online booking system. So instead of us having to physically call individual clients, and you might not be able to commit to a time, then we play a bit of phone tag or whatever. We're looking at integrating an online booking system which we can send out, and clients can take control of their own time in their own time. Which will be fun. Yeah.
And we know we're obviously, like, we are a service business, and that's, most people do prefer sort of face-to-face contact and things, but obviously if we can improve efficiencies from a client's end, because they might not know their availability if you call them off the cuff, or so as I said, if they can do that in the comfort of their own home, just log in and book a time. They can see when I'm available. But as I said,
and we're calling them when we're working, which means that they're probably working too. So that's where the phone tag or the emails and all this sort of stuff comes in. So I think that'll be good once we get our head around what that looks like.
Bit of an insight into our business and where we're at. So we're basically saying embrace tech.
Yes, definitely. Don't be scared. Now I'm on a roll. My whiteboard's full of stuff that I want to do now. It's going to be great. Cool. Anything to add to that?
No, I think it's like anything in life, as I said, whether it's business or personal, just you got to take that step. So there's always going to be that hesitation, but it's very important that you just take that first step, and just it may take time to sort of implement things, but just got to start.
Exactly, got to start somewhere. Well, that's basically all I've got for this one. I think next time we jump on, which will be around this time next week, you want to have a bit of a chat about your favourite topic, insurance. Yes, don't unsubscribe now. I know that it's not the most riveting topic going around, but it is something that is very important.
Yeah, we don't want to get too technical, but I think it's just putting in perspective, and I guess looking at your situation, and that's the conversation we're going to have. So
not my situation,
just everyone's situation, really, in general.
As Asha said, we're not going to bore you with numbers and actuary numbers and all that sort of stuff. It will be relevant, and insurance is something that we as a business are very passionate about. We have seen many occasions on all levels of insurance cover where it is life changing. And we'll have some real life examples, and sorry, my computer just locked itself. Which hopefully will make it relevant, and you can step back and have a think about it. Australia does have a massive underinsurance issue, and it's that balance, as we spoke about before, with the three dirty words at the moment being cost of living. Unfortunately, insurance, because you hopefully never have to use it.
No,
is usually one of the first things to go when you look at your budget, but it's probably one of the real key things about your personal situation. So
exactly, we'll deep dive into that next week.
We absolutely will. Well, thanks, Ash.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Any questions, comments, anything like that, please contact us. We're up and running on Instagram, Facebook. The show notes are linked to those things with our email and our website and all that stuff. So we're pretty easy to get a hold of. And as we sort of said last week, if you could rate, share, subscribe, it helps us get the word out, and helps us really achieve what we want to with this, which is just, a bit of a fun resource. It's educational and that for our wider community. So thanks, guys. We will chat to you soon.
Thanks.
See ya.
Bye.